going on, people? January 6th, 2026. Kind of crazy. It's how it is, though. It's how it is. Yeah, let's just get straight into it today. Go over the gospel real quick. Great one today. Great gospel today. Quite literally, one of Jesus's greatest, miracles, let's say, per se. So let's just get into it. So when Jesus saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, for they're like sheep without a shepherd. Many times we are like sheep without a shepherd. But remember, I wish I had my Bible in here so I would be able to pull it up. But say there's 100 sheep. One goes missing. The shepherd will go and leave the 99 in search of that one sheep that has, lost itself. And that is essentially what Jesus Christ does for each and every one of us. Okay. He began to teach them many things. By now it was already late, and his disciples approached him and said, "This is a deserted place, and it is already very late. Dismiss them so that they can go to the surrounding farms and villages and buy themselves something to eat." He said to them in reply, "Give them some food yourselves." But then they said to him, "Are we to buy 200 days' wages worth of food and give them to eat?" He asked them, "How many loaves do you have? Go and see." And when they found out, they said 5 loaves and 2 fish. So he gave orders to have them sit down in groups on the green grass. The people took their places by rows, by hundreds and fifties. And then, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he said the blessing, broke the loaves, and gave them to his disciples. It's kind of simple, or let's say, sounds similar to the Catholic Church in that say, broke the loaves, gave them to his disciples, saying, well, whatever, to set before the people. He also divided 2 fish among them all. They all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up 12 wicker baskets full of fragments and what was left of the fish. And those who ate of the loaves were 5,000 men. So this is the classic, we don't have any food. I think Jesus is preaching to these people. And yeah, they go hungry. And then he multiplies, basically, the food for 5,000 people. And, that was a great gospel for today. Something to start off with. Let's get into today's little analysis, price action. I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting than usual. I have my top step right there. I'll do that. But okay. So going into the day, I knew that was going to happen. Going into the day, I was honestly bullish. I wanted to see price head higher. Maybe a little neutral, yes. But we had, this kind of thing play out. So we come in, we sweep this internal sell side, react off 0.25 of our daily suspension block. We then come up here at 9:30, take out this high. That's my market structure shift on my larger time frame. So, immediately I would be looking for, hopefully a retracement and then a long up into my buy side of the day. Anyways, that's my larger time frame narrative. So, let me see which high is which real quick. So yeah, this internal high is the one I would want to see, get broken, retracement, and then go higher. Yeah, we're gonna stop like that. So we open up 9:30, our RTH, regular trading hours gap. We rally up. We take out that buy side, what I was expecting not what I was expecting, but what I would need what I'll need in order for this larger time frame market maker buy model to be present. So this was our 1 hour market maker buy model market structure shift. Okay, we then come back down into our RTH gap and WOG, and we get Tuesday's first presented. We immediately inverse it and we rally higher. I was looking for an entry here, but there's no fair value gap. No fair value gap fill there. There is a fair value gap fill here, but it's 3 fair value gaps, and I'm not longing this up here to target what? What am I going to target when we already took out this buy side? I was not expecting us to extend this high already. That this was my basically ultimate buy side target for the morning. So then once we, put in this, I just basically sit on my hands. I'm not really interested in any of this price action. If I'm looking for a short too, this is the only short opportunity. And maybe, yes, it came in the macro and we pushed lower, but this is nothing I'd be interested in. So yeah. Then I just moved that on accident. Then we consolidate. I head to the gym. And larger time frame. Remember, we're completing that 1 hour market maker buy model. So I wanted to see us retrace into this 1 hour for value gap. I told one of my boys, come down into this 1 hour for value gap, order block, breaker block, and then start to move higher. So yeah, I don't trade PM session till after 1:30. I like to stick to the macro, times during the PM session. A lot more, I'd say volatile, and price actually moves to where you want it to move, according to time. So yeah, this is where we get into something that I am kind of disappointed about. So anyways, 1:30 comes around right here, and we get above Monday first presented from, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Respect constant encroachment, rally back into this upper quadrant, get a market maker buy model to the upside, but no fair value gap fill. I was looking for a fair value gap in here, but there was just nothing. We just rallied. So do I enter without a fair value gap, or without a retest of the fair value gap, and then just anticipate us moving higher? This goes into a great explanation right here of my actual trade. I'll pull up Top Step in a second. So anyways, we have this 5-minute fair value gap right here. It says 15 because I was looking for a sell after to that 15-minute fair value gap. You can tell here, but it didn't really work out. So I'm looking for this 5-minute fair value gap. I wanted to see price, come into here in the macro and then reject higher to my buy side liquidity, which was 2.5, this daily inverse, and more buy side liquidity, which was this high in here. Anyways, price comes up, we sweep this high, we have this low. So I'm just gonna go to this. You can see the logic. It's a classic market maker buy model. There's nothing about it. Like, this trade should have worked. High, low, higher, high. I'm anticipating this low to not get broken. Anticipating that low to not get broken, was right. It was right. It was not broken. But what happened? Relative equal lows. I didn't have my stop loss down there. Bam, TP. So, how can I improve on this? I don't really know. This is a trade that I'm just going to say, I lost because, I didn't have my stop loss right, and I got stopped out by a tick. Believe it or not, I got stopped out by a tick. So that's kind of, the shame in losing, but being right. I lost, but I was right. And it's kind of ridiculous that it worked out that way. But yeah, that's just a hard truth. And then I'm going to get this other setup. So, once we sweep that, all the buy side, I think we're going to take, we're end of day. We've been rallying all day. Like, we've been rallying since 4 in the morning, rallying up. I was expecting some bearish, a bearish daily close. Not a bearish daily close, but, come off the daily high when we're going into the close. So, right here we have a high. We have a high right here, a low, a higher high. We broke this low right here, bam. So once we broke that low, I'm looking for shorts. I want to see these relative equal lows get tapped. I want to see some sort of sell side, get offered. We have no sell side offered in this entire move up. Like, what are we doing? So price market structure shifts to downside. We get this amazing 3 p.m. candle rally up, which absolutely was beautiful. I love to see that candle because I knew that it was going to be manipulation. I just knew it. I knew this candle was going to manipulate and, trick people into going long prematurely. This is what I missed, prematurely. In hindsight, I can see it, but prematurely, if I'm only looking at the chart like this, I'm expecting, okay, let's see what happens. So I'm short there. Bam, bam. So we start to move lower, and then we take out the low. So I'm like, yo, this is great. This is great. We are going down to the ground to our relative equal lows. I'm not worried about nothing. And then all of a sudden, we go bam, 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 and we go back to my break even. The reason why was because of our 15-minute, fair value gap right here. We took out an internal low. So then we get this absolute death candle, but that's besides the point. So, was today a bad trade day? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even though I lost, this wasn't even a loss in my book. If I had my stop loss one tick under where I needed to have it, it would have been a good day. And it's like, whatever. And I could have also went break even on the day with this trade, but I decided to let the trade run and see if it actually wants to hit. This is it right here. There's nothing really about it. Just unfortunate the way it worked. Long stopped, short stopped, break even. What I'm noticing, going into these days is that I'm slowing down. I'm definitely being more patient. I haven't traded unless trade of 8 PA in I think 4 days now, and I've been sitting in the market. I just haven't found a setup that I've liked to the point where I can enter on a PA. Like this would have been a great setup. One of my trading colleagues basically took this setup, and it was nice. This was a really nice long up into here, but then this coming back down to here, sweeping this liquidity, that's just brutal, and then running all the way up to the high. So maybe I tried to force it a little bit, but our buy side target was strong up here. And look at this daily candle inverse like action. It was strong. I really wanted to see price get up in there. And it's just unfortunate the way it worked out. To be honest, got stopped out by a point, but that's how it is. So that's pretty much it. I will see y'all for Tuesday's January 7th recap. Another day, another dollar. Just get to it. Peace out.